Folks, ET here coming at you with the week ahead look, stock market week ahead look for a couple of tickers. For starters, we are going to jump into Tesla. Has been a hot one lately. Everybody's been paying close attention to it. Had a nice rip on Friday. Congrats if you bought some 0 days on that because those went multi. For starters, customer sentiment's kind of hanging out here still in this bullish side for sure. We've seen some profit taking for sure, but has been holding somewhat strong. So for some more bullishness, we would definitely like to see this remain the same and then shoot back up. And we'll go ahead and check its data real quick and see how everything is going there. So dark pools, largest dark pool aggregate is 340.63. So keep an eye on that spot for any rips or dips. Got another sizable one down here at 316. Next, we're going to check a few more of its data points, then move on to our next ticker. Don't forget, it is a short week this week. We have Monday through Wednesday trading, no Thursday, half day Friday. A lot of these weeks are low volume, somewhat bullish historically weeks, but we'll find out if that remains the same for sort of everything in the broader market as we go along. So jumping in, we're going to take a look at its whale positioning first real quick, and I've gotten rid of some of the ones that are somewhat static. Just want to keep a couple things, point out a couple things here that might be important. Number one, 300 is held strong, so that might be, if we see big dips, a very good spot to go long. We'll check gamma next to see that as well. 370 has been slowly working up, so crazy to see that. We've seen a lot of calls in that area. 320 slowly moving up as well. So if we see dips down to that spot, then we know that that's also somewhere to hold strong. Saw a lot of profit taking on this 330 range, and we saw some more profit taking on this 340 range. And 360 is slowly starting to work its way up. So it's kind of a range there, large range, but we will take a look at its gamma as well. Now, gamma, kind of interesting here to me. Huge wall in the aggregate at 360. Big pull to down to around 340, which we kind of saw that on the whale watch. And then a nice little cushion here of repel at 337, 335, another one at 330. So a lot of these make sense if Tessie goes down into that dip buying area to pull back up to there. And we've got a little bit of repel up here. 360 is going to be a tough wall to pass. So for a short week, for me, 360 would be a good spot to eye for some downside. And if we have some wild swings down to this range, looking for some potential upside there. Tessie's pretty simple to me on this. Passing 360 definitely gets us. And remember, I'm not looking for just a pass on a short-term time frame here. I'm looking for a hold over 360 into an hourly or 15-minute area. Just a little bit higher time frame than that 5 minutes a lot of people look at. So keeping an eye there for sure. So that's it for Tessie. Pretty good range there. 360 if we break and hold. Plenty of room up. If we cannot pass this huge gamma wall at 360, plenty of downside here with that pull to 340 once again. Next up is MSTR. Bitcoin has been going hard and failed to break 100K and has pulled back just slightly, but this is a hot name on the market. An absolute massive short there on Thursday and Friday, if anybody got it. Somewhat bullish customer sentiment, but it has definitely pulled back a bit with a lot of profit taking. So simple look there. Let's go ahead and jump into its dark pools. 336.29 is its largest ag at the moment. So pretty far away from price. Right now price is at about 420, I believe, 421 right around there. Its close on Friday. So one of the things I always like to talk about is the further away price gets from its ag, the more I start to think about a move towards that direction. If it was way up here above price, I'd start thinking about a long. Right around here, I don't think it's too late on shorts by any means for it because we're still far away from that ag. As long as it holds there, be a nice short side target that direction. Let's go ahead and jump into its gamma really quick and see how everything looks there. Go ahead and take a look at its whale positioning here as we go along as well. Not a whole lot going on here. We have a lot of things that are very static. We want to get rid of these static things. 700 has pulled off the table a little bit. 600 has pulled off the table somewhat. 890 is pulling off the table a little bit. We do see a rise here in 400 a little bit and a rise here in 350. So that makes sense. So that purple line, that 350 is starting to make just a little bit of sense towards that potential short side. We will need to see what gamma says if we keep kind of taking, we'll see some profit taking going along on these things. And we also see a nice rise here on 300 that went way down and is starting to come up. So short side thesis on this on pops. We'll see if Gamma agrees with what we say. So biggest pull on ag is 400. Big repel up here at 470. And then we've got a little bit of repel down here at 390. Some other levels here. Let's go ahead and check its expiry for this week to see if there's anything different. So that is starting to make a little bit more sense. If we can't stay above 420, we've got plenty of room down into this 350 range, making sense for that dark pool level right there. Kind of crazy to see that. Biggest pull is still around 400, so we're still above that. Now, other scenario, if we're just looking at the weekly, holding 420 gives it plenty of room up to that 460 area before we see that green repel. Remember, red attracts, green repels, so 400 at least might be a nice downside look if it can't hang, and then there's even more potential there as we go along, taking a look at it as well. Do remember, though, it is a short week, so anything played might need to be an extra week out unless you are scalping very quickly. Holding through these weeks like this may not be the best opportunity for me, but you need to trade how you trade. Last up is Microsoft, which has been consolidating in this range for quite a while now. Very interesting look here on this one as it's holding around right around its largest aggregate dark pool, which we'll check on here in a second. But its customer sentiment has flipped somewhat bearish here. Big abrupt move down, and now we're starting to look at some bearish customer sentiment. Interesting though, right around this 414.89 is where price managed to hold a few times last week, got below a few times, but we're kind of hanging around that ag as we are seeing it right now. So too far above, and that's a short target. Too far below, and it's a long target for me. I always love to use these ags, not necessarily as magnets, but when it's paired with gamma, you can start to see a bigger picture as to what is going on there. Let's take a look at its whale positioning really quickly. So interesting enough, 410 is on the rise a little bit. 415 is a nice hold. So if we break this wall, we have some upside. This is starting to look like some potential for that 410 downside. 420 is slowly starting to rise up. And as you can see right here, 440 has kind of gone flat. It's downtrending a little bit. And 400 has been flat, but it's curling up just very slightly. So downside moves. We'll see what gamma matches as we go along there as well. But an interesting look. Always take a look at the whale positioning to see what's being bought and sold. Pretty easy to see when we've hit a target. That sometimes when we hit that target, maybe to the upside or downside, you see that trend down somewhat as we move along. We've definitely not hit 440, but that is selling off for the moment. Now let's jump in and take a look at its gamma. A wide range if we hold 410, plain and simple. Biggest pull is up here around 425. Huge positive gamma cluster. This might be more difficult of a trade right here. Huge positive gamma cluster that it would need to break. If it can't break out of this range, it's just going to continue coming back down here to this 410 and repelling upwards unless we have just a very bad day and it starts to repel down off these small greens. Upside range, 440, we've seen that huge wall holding right there. So if it gets up there, it'd be a good time to take a look for some downside into this gamma cluster and its biggest pull at 425. This one I'm looking at with just a little bit of trepidation because it could indeed probably stick between this 410 and 422.5 on this short week. Another bit of consolidating, and then we'd have to look next week again to see if that gamma is starting to pull upwards some more. So tight range for this one. Dip buying at 410 if it holds, and then potentially shorting at 422.5 in this range right here, back down to 410 if it can't break and hold. Once again, if it breaks and holds 422.5, it's got a ton of room up and little gamma pulls on its way to take it there. So it could just gamma ramp, it could pass, hit up there and come down. Iffy one here, but Microsoft's one of my favorite ones to play, so I thought I would put it in this week's video. Well, that is all for now. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving. I hope you have time with your family and your loved ones and you enjoy every moment of it. If you're off for the week or you get a couple of days off, enjoy them. Hope everybody has a good day, good week. Stay safe out there and go get that Oprah money.